Hello and welcome to my first ever mixed media process video. I'm really happy to be joining the YouTube community. I'm starting off quite small with a little mini canvas. You can see how small it is from my washi tape. It comes with a little easel. Sometimes I paint these, sometimes I put glitter on them, but today I'm just going to leave it natural. The theme of my canvas today is grow, so that kind of works with that kind of natural wood effect look. So because the canvas is so small, I can just use the background or create the background by covering it in washi tape, which is what I'm doing, starting off with the edges, and I'm just going to snip the corners so that I can fold those down really easily. Apologise for the canvas going slightly off screen there. I'm still kind of learning about where the camera actually is pointing, so if it does go off screen a bit, I apologise. And while I'm doing that, I'm just going to tell you a little bit about myself. My name is Rachel. I have been a mixed media artist for about 3 years now, and I have learned everything that I know from watching other people do mixed media and art journals on YouTube. And I really just wanted to add my own voice to that community. Now that I've done my own video, I realise how much hard work it is, and I'm just really grateful for those people that have taken the time to teach me, and I think it is now time that I taught others. I am a teacher by trade. I teach 11 to 16-year-olds, so you know, why not put these talents to good use and share what I have learned. So when I finished covering that canvas in the washi tape, I am just going to give it a layer of mixed media, matte medium, just to make sure that it's a non-porous surface. So next I'm going to come in with my Faber Castell May Green marker, and I'm just going to go around the edges of the canvas, and because it's got matte medium on it, I've created a non-porous surface so that I can smudge these nice and easily. They're Indian ink, so they don't dry straight away, so they just create a really nice shaded effect. And I'm just going to go into the middle a little bit as well, just so it doesn't look kind of really sharp on the edges, and just blend it in a bit. And then once I've done that, I'm coming in with white acrylic paint. This isn't gesso, this is just white acrylic paint by Rowney. And I'm just putting a little bit on my finger because, again, it's such a small canvas that paintbrush would just be overkill. So I'm just using my finger just to blend it in. I got a few stripes there, so I'm trying to get rid of that kind of stripy effect. I want much more of a mottled background look. And don't forget your edges, I'm doing those now. Just going around and just kind of blending everything together so that you get that kind of graduation of colours and textures across your canvas, places where you can see the pattern, places where it's slightly more opaque. And once I've done that, you can see I've raided my stash here now, and there's bits and pieces all over the worktop. And I got this little stamp set from the Works for about £2. They're quite cheap. And the stamp doesn't quite fit my canvas, it's a little bit small, so I'm going to stretch out the stamp by just shading the tops and bottoms separately. So I'm using a Faber Castell Chrome Oxide green marker just to shade the top of the stamp, placing that on the top of my canvas and just stamping it on the top. And then I'm going to come in at the bottom, shade the bottom of the frame and stamp the bottom bit on the bottom of the canvas. And by doing this, you're just stretching out that frame a little bit more. You do get a gap in the middle, but I really don't mind that at all. You could fill it in if you wanted to, but I quite like the look that it has at the moment. And then just popping it back in the packet. I am not a neat crafter, as you can see. There's bits and pieces everywhere. I'm working on my kitchen worktop at the moment because my craft room is being turned into a playroom. So now I'm going to come in, again, these stamps, I think they are Papermania stamps. I got them quite a long time ago, and they're just floral borders. And because my theme is grow, I just wanted to add a bit more of a floral interest, but not too much. So I'm coming in with the flower stamps, just to add a little bit more kind of pattern to the background, and that May Green Faber Castell marker. I'm just using that. I don't really have any ink pads as such, so I tend to use my Faber Castell markers to stamp colours particularly, and I'm just colouring in different parts of the stamp and stamping them down. And you notice I am not using an acrylic block, and that is because the middle of the canvas is unsupported. It's got the wood around the edge, but the middle is unsupported, which means it tends to just dip down in the middle slightly, and if you're using stamps it means you just don't get a good impression, or you just don't get an impression at all. So I tend to use my fingers, especially for small stamps. You can see me showing you there that it's completely unsupported, rather than an acrylic block. And this is the same reason that I am now doing what I'm doing, which is I'm getting out my white tissue paper to stamp my title, which is going to say grow. And again, the reason that I'm doing this is because I want a really clear image for my title, and if I stamp it directly onto the canvas I won't get that. I got these alphabet stamps from the magazine Papercrafter. I do tend to go and raid the magazine shelves and see what freebies are on offer, because normally you can get things quite a lot cheaper than you would be able to in the shops. And I'm just stamping it twice there because I didn't get a particularly good impression the first time round. So once I've got my title, I'm going to cut that out, and I'm going to stick it onto the canvas using matte medium. And the thing about white tissue paper is when you put glue on the canvas and then you cover it over with matte medium on the top, the tissue paper almost entirely disappears. You do still get a little bit of opaqueness, but because you can't get that clear impression by stamping directly onto the canvas, this is absolutely the next best thing, and I do this technique quite often. So I'm just cutting around the edges there just to make it nice and neat. And then you can see I can position it in the middle of that little frame, and I'm going to come in with some glue. This is Windsor & Newton matte medium, and cover the back and then stick it on, and then go over it to make it non-porous, but also just to really blend out that tissue paper, and you can see that it's almost disappeared. There we are. Very nice. So that's how it's looking at the moment, but I feel like it needs a bit of dimension. So again, I've raided my stash. These little roses I used on my Faber boxes for my wedding. They're 10 years old. I'm just about to have my 10-year wedding anniversary. So yeah, but from HobbyCraft you can still get similar things. And these little cheeky little ladybirds, also from HobbyCraft, and they're just adorable. Don't get to use them very often, so I'm really happy to be using them now. So I'm coming in with the high tack glue. I think it's very similar to Eileen's tacky glue. I don't trust the glue dots on the back of the ladybirds, because I sell these canvases and I'd be mortified if they fell off when somebody had bought my work. So I just tend to go in with a really tacky glue, and this stuff's amazing, it sticks anything. I'm just sticking 3 of my little ladybirds on the top there, and then I'm going to cut the stems off the roses, and I'm going to stick them down. And the glue it dries clear, so in this case I would say more is more, particularly with kind of dimensional elements like flowers. I find that they don't stick well unless you really kind of use plenty of glue. Don't be thrifty with the glue when you're sticking down flowers, is my personal opinion on the matter. And they're just tidying up a bit. I'm all stems and no flowers now, so just kind of trying to separate them out. And then I'm coming back in with that May green Faber Castell marker, and I'm just blending around the edges again, just to give a bit more depth and to kind of sort of get rid of that tissue paper even more than it's already kind of disappeared. But I'm just kind of, again, just making it kind of really blended together, and so that it looks like it hasn't been stuck on. Basically, the idea with mixed media is to kind of try and blend everything out so it doesn't look like it's all stuck on. So at this point I decided I needed some sparkle, of course, because you know all crafts need sparkle, and this is DoveCraft's Glitter Glue in Rose Gold, and just having a bit of trouble with the nozzle there, sorry about that. And I'm just going around the top of the canvas adding some glitter glue, and round the bottom corners. I tend to kind of aim for opposite corner with the glitter glue, just to kind of balance the canvas out. And also that bit in the kind of bottom left is getting some glittery treatment. It's quite sparse, that bottom corner at the moment, and you'll see in a minute that I decided that it needs something else. So I thought at this point I was finished, hence why I put it on the easel. And then the next day I came back to it, and this is where the light is going to change completely. There we go, so it's now 10 o'clock in the morning. Apologies, I zoomed in the camera and then forgot, which is why it's a bit off the screen. And I found these little rub-ons. Again, they're very, very old. There's a butterfly and a bird, and I had this idea to kind of put them on that kind of dead space, or sort of white space on the canvas. I'm trying to rub it off using my little girl's plastic dinner knife there. But I don't like to press too hard on the canvas. I've damaged canvases in the past. So here I am back with my tissue paper. I ended up rubbing it off onto the tissue paper with a metal spoon in the end. That was the only way I could get it off. And then I'm coming back in with my matte medium and just blending in the tissue paper. I get into all kinds of sticky mess with this butterfly, and I end up coming in and cutting it in the end because I was ripping it. And I don't like those harsh edges that you get from scissors, but I was going to rip it in half and I didn't have another one. So yeah, I'm just kind of adding a little bit more to it. I didn't want anything more dimensional because it's such a small canvas, it would have just swamped it. But I did feel like it needed slightly more interest, especially in that bottom left-hand corner. And then I added the butterfly in the top because it didn't look quite balanced with just one thing. So that's my reasoning behind that. And then off camera, I added a little bit of doodling, and I added some 3D pearls in black on the letters. You can see they are slightly dimensional and quite shiny now, just to give a little bit more kind of emphasis on the title. I really hope you enjoyed watching my first video. Thank you very much for bearing with me, and I hope you join me again soon. Bye!